Okay, if the words New Year's resolutions is getting you a little scared right now, have I got a new moon for you? Okay, so, we're heading into the third week of January and those words start to New Year's what? New Year's reso what? It's like, or they almost feel like nails on a blackboard. Well, guess what? This new moon in Capricorn, help is on the way. All right, so in this video, I am going to describe exactly the features of this new moon and why this is going to help us so much. I'm also going to talk about a very important gateway that's coming up. And then I'm going to take us through all 12 rising signs to see where this new moon of possibility lands in your chart. And then I'm finished with a really great inspirational quote, which is one of the most motivating ones that I've ever had in my whole life. And I rediscovered it this today as I was preparing my notes, and I'm going to share it with you because I know it's just perfect for us. So, okay, that's how this video is going to go. For those of you who are new to the channel, hello, welcome, welcome. My name's Irlianna. I'm with StarSound Astrology, starsoundastrology.com. This is StarSound Speaks. And this, I practice Hellenistic astrology, traditional astrology blended with modern archetypes, and I use whole sign houses. Also, I use astrology in private sessions to set you up for success. This is my whole passion is to be, I am your greatest cheerleader. No, I cannot do a cartwheel. No, I cannot do a round off. Is that what they call those? I'm terrible at that stuff. However, I am the best cheerleader when it comes to creating possibility and identifying your gifts. Maybe you don't even know what they are. We identify them, remediate challenges in your chart, discover power windows of opportunity for you, and I do all of that. So I'm very passionate about this. So if you need help in creating an outrageous 2024, come see me, we'll talk. StarSoundAstrology.com. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So the features of this new moon. This new moon is, I can just pull this up here on our handy dandy screen. Okay, so here we are for Washington, D.C. This occurred at 20 degrees, 44 minutes. As you can see here, I have it set for Washington, but just to get things started, right? So it's in the first house. This is an angular house. This is big setting, a time of completion and change. As we have seen in the news, a lot is falling away and a lot is coming online. This is at 20 degrees, 44 minutes of Capricorn. The features of this, well, notice how we've got a stellium in Capricorn. We got Mars in its exaltation. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. We got the sun and the moon and Pluto. And so this is a really powerful time, it's all ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the planet of work and effort and sacrifice and focus and discipline. It's the domicile ruler. So this new moon is really saying to us, what do we want to build? What do we want to build that lasts? What legacy do we want to create? Capricorn's all about the big picture, the long term, after the mountain goat that climbs these craggy peaks with great effort and focus and reaches the top. So what is the legacy to look out over this vast landscape, right? So what legacy do we want to create? This is what the new moon is asking us. What about commitment? How do we feel around the word? Sometimes we feel the words commitment and responsibility are like scary words, but the good news is, I have good news for you. This baked into this new moon is a lot of help. Okay, so when we talk about commitment, we also look at Saturn, the domicile ruler. Saturn is in the sign of Pisces. And so this really speaks to talk about vision boarding on steroids, right? Take those vision boards out, and if you haven't gotten one, go to the dollar store, get one of those, make it in a bright color, get happy about this. This is all about when we get to create what kind of ideal, compassionate society do we want to live in? That could be one place to start. What are the dreams and creative visions that we want to base our year and our long-term view on? This is Saturn in Pisces. This is when we get to create epic art. We lean into the nonlinear. We lean into beautiful art, epic art. We are looking at the things where we have deceived ourselves about reality. What do we really believe? What beliefs are going to take us and serve us that are based on compassion and kindness as an ideal society? I think of the song that came to me as I was putting this together was that song, Lose Yourself to Dance, Lose Yourself to Dance. That's a Saturn in Pisces, signal song. And that's certainly really at play here, where the universe is inviting us to do this in a really big manner. And so, does this require discipline and focus? Yes, it does. However, as I always tell my clients when they're going through a Saturn transit, because Saturn is the domicile ruler of this particular new moon, Saturn rewards effort. So yes, there's discipline, yes, there's sacrifice, but there's something in return. And Saturn never, it's not like a credit card where you get the goodie up front and you pay for it later. Like Saturn's like, oh no, you got to show your work to the teacher before you get the A. And so, yes, it's going to pay off, but we have to put in that effort. Now, luckily, here's what's helping us. We have an out of bounds Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. That means Mars, which is the planet, the muscle planet about goals and direction and getting things done, is in a very favorable sign. It's in exaltation in Capricorn, which means exaltation means that he gets a lot of support, hobnobbing with those CEOs and and people at the top, and thinking in that big picture vision. So we have an out of bounds Mars. He'll be out of bounds until January 23rd, which can be, on one hand, it can be things, literally, twice in the last few days, trains jumped the tracks in the subway tracks in New York City. So it's like, talk about an out of bounds Mars jumping the track, right? Saturn is all about structure and commitment, structure and form, in Capricorn. And so they literally jumping the tracks. But this can also, if you think about it as Mars being brave and courageous, it's like we can, with an out-of-bound Mars, we can actually envision and commit ourselves to some really big, bold efforts and things that will pay off. And it might be hard work at first, but there is a payoff, and it's going to be a lasting payoff. Now, the good news is we're channeling our energy and our goals for a high purpose with Mars in Capricorn. But the nice thing is that it's making an exact trine, a very favorable aspect to Jupiter, the planet of wealth and luck and divine providence and the universe supporting us, confidence, luck, optimism. So Mars making that exact trine, 5 degrees, to Jupiter, this is really favorable. Now, Jupiter happens to be the bound ruler of this new moon. And what that means is where this new moon is playing by Jupiter's rules. It's kind of like in the dorm in college, you have like, there's a university, and then there's inside each dorm, there's like a house mother, I don't know if they still have those things anymore, but this kind of person who oversaw, and you got to play by their rules. No coming in at 2 a.m. and you can't bring boys to the room, and like that kind of thing, right? You're playing by their rules. Well, Jupiter, we're playing by Jupiter's rules. Jupiter just turned direct recently, a couple of weeks ago. Jupiter's rules are like, hey, you know what? We can help. There's help and ease and luck and opportunity with setting our sights and making the commitment to big things. And the help that's coming, because Jupiter is in Taurus, the help is going to be in a resilient, practical, stable, grounded, steady source of help. Very practical. Taurus is all about the material, earthy. It's earth. It's solid, fixed earth. So it's like good old, strong, steady, reliable help. is going to be part of this process. So yay, right? Yay. Do I hear yay? A steady ongoing help. Who can argue with that? Relying on ourselves too, relying on the wisdom, the Jupiterian, right? The wisdom and the divine knowledge inside of us, our self-reliance, right? This is our self-reliance allows us to accomplish great things. Okay, so what I like about this, let's talk now about this gateway that's coming up. Okay, so we have this we're already in this new moon energy. On Saturday, January 20th, depending on your time zone, the sun will conjunct Pluto. So the sun's at 20, it's at 20 degrees right now, and Pluto's at 29. So Pluto, of course, very slow moving at the anaretic final degree of Capricorn, 29 degrees of Capricorn. The sun's going to catch up with that on January 20th. Anaretic, both planets, anaretic degree. This is huge. This is the passing of the baton. This is where the sun shines its light, its vital life force. We are witnessing an outrageous time in history right now, especially this month. This month has some of the best astro all year. So Pluto at the anaretic degree, and then the sun at the anaretic degree. Anaretic means it's the final degree, the 29th degree of a sign is always it's the completion of things. It's the culmination and the completion. It's always in the bounds of Saturn. So we're playing by Saturn's rules, right? And well, Saturn in Pisces is like, we need to dissolve all the places where we have deceived ourselves, where our reality structure was not what we thought it was going to be or providing us with. And we are now here to forge something that's new and beautiful and transcendental with Pisces. Okay, so the passing of the baton, the end of an era, we're witnessing this changing of the guard from the material wealth and the material orientation of Capricorn into Aquarius, which is an air sign, which is all about the intellect. It's about the mind. It's about new worlds of possibility that exist outside what we've known, right? So this is a very important passage that is happening in this new moon lunation. So we're witnessing the changing of the guard. We're witnessing that the light of the sun is shining on what kinds of things? Metamorphosis, transformation, conflict, and maybe power struggles, but it's all to produce something bigger and leading us into that Aquarian age. So this is definitely a major evolutionary point. And this is going to be going on from now through February, was it February 21st, I think it is? And so Pluto will be at 0 degrees from January 20th to February 21st. So this next month, from the 20th to the 21st of February, 22nd, depending on your time zone, is Pluto at the 0 degree of Aquarius. So this is a very important point because this is the preview for the next 20 years. It's going to happen again later in the year when we'll hit 0 degrees of Aquarius later in the year in the summer, and then again finally in forever, no more going back into Capricorn in November of this year. But right now, today, I'm only going to talk about this particular one. So we're going to see this the preview of coming attractions for the next 20 years. That's huge. So really pay attention. Look at the news headlines. Check in with yourself. Check in with your consciousness and meditation. What are you feeling? Because what we witness and experience in this time period is really going to be coloring and informing the next 20 years. It's giving us that opportunity to see. And so this is a light being shown around this evolutionary process. I liken it to a butterfly who is in a cocoon. The caterpillar has literally metamorphosed from a caterpillar into the butterfly. Of course, we don't see it. It's all hidden, right? Pluto's about the worlds that we don't see. So that butterfly inside the cocoon, metamorphosing from a caterpillar into an entirely different animal that looks nothing like the past, right? So when you think about it, that cocoon is, of course, it's a lot of change, right? It must be painful for the little animal, the little caterpillar to change his body. Is like it's hard and it's painful and it's not easy. It's an effort, it takes time. And so this would be like think about there's power struggles. So what we would be witnessing, especially in Capricorn ruling government and politicians, so we're going to be witnessing this power struggle as the old guard, the passing of the baton from the old guard to the new guard. So there's power struggles with authority and authority figures. And I would say on a personal level, this is like we as our own authority there's nobody coming to get us. We are our own authority and we're coming into that realization. And of course, in the process of that, there's always this kind of rearing up. I was listening to Chris Brennan and Austin Koppak on the Astrology podcast, but they did a phenomenal job, as they always do, delineating the entire year, 4 hours of astrology. I'm just loving it. But one of the things that Austin said, he mentioned the term. I didn't know this term existed, but I knew the concept, and I know we're all familiar with this concept. And it's called Extinction Burst. And this is a term in psychology. And it refers to when something is dying and ending, that it doubles down or triples down in its energy before it finally gives out. And I think it could be like a star. I know, for example, when somebody's near death, I'm sure if you've ever had a loved one pass, this is very common, where there is this, like, they come to life. They've been sick and ill and they're, like, say, lying in hospice, and then all of a sudden they get this burst of energy and you think, oh my goodness, maybe there's hope, they're going to get better. And then you know what? The next day they're gone. So it's this kind of, it's a law of nature. It's part of life, where something's dying and there's this final experience of all of that life force in the way it's been, and then it's done. And so this is what we're seeing from January 20th to February 1st, as we passed from the Sun and Pluto in 29 degrees, 59 minutes of Capricorn into Aquarius. There is this extinction burst as the baton is passed, as we move into this new phase. And it's this realization that we can't rely, there's no way we can transform ourselves if we're hanging on to the past. So Capricorn is all about traditions. It's about the past. And the past isn't always bad. I mean, as Americans, we got the moon, the USA's moon is in Aquarius. So we're always like so future oriented. We're always like, oh, we got rid of King George, and that's a very mooning Aquarius kind of thing, off with you. And I want to do it myself. We're the people. And it really does, it's baked into our thing. But the Capricorn archetype is very much about the past, but it's like taking the good things from the past, take traditions that are usable and that can be carried forth, that are worthy and still can work with, but take the best from the past and then leave the other stuff, the toxic stuff. Pluto representing, oh, you don't know what's toxic? Well, let me show you. I will show you. If you refuse to look, Pluto will show you and look for you, as we have been feeling and seeing and witnessing for the last 15 years with its being in the sign of Capricorn. So now we have this opportunity, as that baton is being passed. It's the end of this era where we're relying on the government and everything as our source code and outside external authority. And we're realizing that we are the ones, right? What does the Hopi say? We are the ones we've been waiting for. That Hopi quote is certainly very, very valid at this time. I also think about the ruby slippers, Dorothy's ruby slippers. You know how she spent the whole dang movie like giving her power away, right? She kept looking for the wizard, and she was afraid of the other authority figure, the Wicked Witch, and she was afraid of that, and she was like, she was not in her power. And then when she finally stepped into her power, she realized, wait a minute, I don't need you, you know, and she accidentally discovered her power by slipping with the water bucket, and it killed the witch, you know. But she stepped into her power, and she forgot that she had ruby slippers. Like she's like she didn't even know she was wearing them, or she forgot that they had this power. And then jijing, right? The whole everything shifted. So this is this kind of ruby slipper moment that we're having as we transition from that Capricorn archetype to the Aquarian. So be really mindful, my suggestion, on the 20th, 21st of January. You'll be able to feel it. I think the more we tune into these archetypes, the more present we are, and the more we can see them out in the world, whether it's the things that people say or certainly news stories, we'll begin to be more and more aware. But we are the ones we've been waiting for. And there's this part of ourself that has been constrained by outside authorities, Capricorn, by what we should do, by societal conditioning that's based on the past, that's based upon constriction and things of that nature. But now there's this part that's been estranged that's coming back online with Pluto and Aquarius. So Pluto will enter Aquarius. The sun will, of course, keep zipping past, but Pluto will be at that zero for a month, right? That 0 degree. So this is hugely a huge opportunity. We get to shape the way we want that to be. We don't have to sit around and wait. We're participants. We're not observers anymore. Our evolution depends on us showing up, being in the now, Aquarius, right? Be here now, move beyond past constrictions. And our liberation is in recognizing and operating from this place of participation, not being passive, but participating, being here now, and incorporating everybody. Everybody's on board. Everybody has a voice here. All voices are respected and appreciated. That's something else, right? I'm telling you, this is like a really, really cool, very great new moon. It's like every year we have the sun and we have a new moon in Capricorn, but the fact that we have all these factors coming together right now, it's really, really grand. There is this beautiful divine providence blueprint that's addressing this changing of the guard. It's very, very much a part of this and all the power and potential that it can bring. So I would say to you, two pieces of advice. Number one is let's have a marvelous time doing this. Sometimes we think we equate commitment and responsibility with like, oh my God, that R word, like responsibility is like a burden, something that we have to survive. And you know, my invitation to you is to say no, like who said it had to be dreary? You know, this is a liberation time. So let's have a marvelous time doing this. Let's have put joy in and think big around what you want to accomplish this year. We've got Jupiter helping, right? We got practical grounded wisdom is just a phone call away. And Mars, you know, out of bounds Mars, like that can be trains jumping the track, but it can also be outrageous abilities to have even more muscle and more bravery and courage in shaping the society that we want to live in and the goals that we want to accomplish. So that's it. Let's have a marvelous time doing this. One of my favorite quotes. And when I wake up in the morning, sometimes when I need reminding of this, so I'm like, oh, okay, let's have a marvelous time doing this. And then sometimes even if you just say it out loud, I don't know, I do know it really works. And so it puts us in this powerful framework. The other piece of advice I have is do something that your future self would thank you for. This is from one of my teachers, one of my beloved teachers. Do something your future self will thank you for. So, you know, abstaining from that bar of chocolate is something your future self will thank you. So making that sacrifice and effort, yes, it pays off. Okay, let's do the houses. Where does this occur in your chart? Where this new moon and all these possibilities? What area of life is this really going to impact? And then I'll finish with the quote. Okay, so for the sign, let me pull this up here, my Zoom, share screen. Okay, so here it is for Washington, D.C. So if you have Capricorn rising, this is angular, right? So the cardinal signs, this is these are angular. So this is going to be have a speak with a megaphone, right? As my teacher Adam Ellenbaus used to say, planets in angular houses speak with a megaphone. They're really important. So if you have Cap rising, this is in your first house, which is your image, your personality, your appearance, your physical body. So there's these new goals, new, an opportunity to shape and set visions around, your personal appearance and what you're bringing to the world. So that's your first house. Okay. Then we have Aquarius. So for Aquarius rising, this is in your 12th house. The 12th house, you could say that this is the opportunity to create a new structure around, your mystical self. And what we are letting go of is we're undoing the opportunity to undo self-sabotage, opportunity to drop victim martyr thinking or codependency or addictions and feeling like where we sabotage ourselves, and we can create a new future based upon what we want rather than what we feel, where we feel, out of touch with ourselves. It's an opportunity to come into a really profound level of empowerment. Okay, for Pisces rising, this is in your 11th house, which is friends, hopes, wishes, dreams, the vision boarding house, right? So go for it, Pisces rising. This is it, man. This is like, think about the people, the friends, and that you want to hang out with, what new beginnings regarding these areas of your life. Also groups and group organizations. So we're really looking long term at all these subjects. Then we have the Aries rising, and this is going to be, again, angular, and it's in your 10th house, which is career, your public image, your self-image, what you're bringing to the world. This is where these new beginnings will be occurring for you. Then for Taurus rising, it's in the 9th house. The 9th house, of course, is our belief systems, philosophical beliefs, higher education, it could be foreign travel. So we're setting our sights upon new beginnings in all of these areas. And then for Gemini rising, it's in the 8th house, which is shared resources, the money and resources of other people's money, inheritances, estates, wills, trusts. So our new beginning occurs in those areas. It's also the resources of one's spouse or partner, if you have one. And so this is what is now being rebirthed in the fires of the sun. Then we have Cancer rising, and that's going to be also angular, 7th house, which is our partners, the people that we partner with or have long-term committed relationships. So there's this new beginning in that area. Of course, it can also be clients and people that we have one-to-one relationships with. And then we have Leo rising, and that's going to be in our 6th house, which is one's service, one's workplace, employees, having employees, being an employee. So there may be some new opportunities to set new goals and standards regarding our bosses, and being our boss, you are your greatest authority, and this will be really powerful for you in the workplace. The 5th house is where it's happening for you, Virgo risings. So 5th house is children, pleasure seeking, enjoyable activities, romance, sex, all of it. It's a whole new paradigm is available to create, right? Get that vision board out, and this is the very creative house. So creative projects, creating epic art, and let's incorporate that into our routine if you're a Virgo rising. Okay, for Libra rising, this is in your fourth house, and that's your home, your family, your property, your genealogy. So there's this opportunity to, let go of the past, of things that held you back regarding, say, toxic family dynamics, and the ability to create something new, a new resilient foundation. And then for you guys, you Scorpio risings, this is in your third house. And the third house, of course, is the house of communications and learning, early education. It could also be the people that live in your local community, like neighbors and people who are relatives, or immediate relatives, like cousins, aunts, and uncles. And so that's where your new beginning will be happening. For the second house, this is in your house of, that would be for Sag rising, this new moon, new beginning regarding your personal finances and the things that are important to you. The second house is about personal possessions, and it's not just money or money in the bank, but the things that we value and our skills and our talents. So taking a broad view of what talents do we have to offer the world and making them happen. Okay, then and that's it, right? We have everything. Sag, right? Yeah. Okay. Did I do Sag rising? No, I didn't. Sag rising. No, wait. I'm sorry. It's late. Yeah. Sag rising. It's in your second house. Yeah. And then we are back to Capricorn. All right. So I want to leave you with a really cool quote, which I just love, and I think it really speaks to the power and the potential of this new moon. And it's from the Scottish explorer W.H. Murray, and it goes like this, and it has to do with commitment and all the things that we just spoke about with this fabulous new moon. He said, "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation," remember Mars and Capricorn, exalted, right? Acts of initiative and creation. "There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred." See that Jupiter trine an exalted Mars. It's like this is exactly the astrology that we're talking about. All sorts of things occur when you get committed. The universe moves with you. Otherwise, things that would never have occurred, but it's because you make a commitment. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance. Jupiter and Taurus, material assistance, raising, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. So I hope you were inspired by that. I hope you got value from today's little chat. That's all I've got for you today. Again, if you need a session, just holler at me, www.starsoundastrology.com. And also, just to let you know that I'm still working out those dates for the astrology lessons. I can take like 2 more people. So if you're interested, it'll probably be within the next few weeks that we could get started, but more on that later. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do like, share, subscribe if you found it useful. Always so grateful. We love hearing from you. So I will see you soon in the comment section, and I hope you have a really fantastic new moon. Tell me what you think and what are your plans and hopes and dreams and wishes that you'd like to see manifest for this year. Okay, all for now. This is Irlianna Samsara, StarSound Speaks, starsoundastrology.com. Thank you all for listening. Namaste.